Everyone, welcome to a new week of Rose and Carter Do the JOB. Only one this week because we're having a week off. Bully Boy Carter's going to the pub and having his hair cut. We my pick with it this week, and I've picked Rip Rogers, the Hustler. Always a very entertaining voice on the shoe interviews, any of us,
Like, yeah, I've seen a few of them, yeah.
Everything's goddamn motherfucker this, and I love that. Rip Rogers, born February the 7th, 1954, in Seymour, Indiana, debuted in '77. I watched a bit of a shoe interview this morning as I was looking into this, because this is from Wikipedia, but it only gives you kind of like brief information on there, doesn't it? He did WWF TV, like in the really early days.
All right.
It didn't say that on Wikipedia, but it said formed the Convertible Blondes in the Poffos ICW with Pez Whatley and Gary Royal using the Freebird rule. And I'm not sure what year that would have been, but obviously it's before the Freebird rule, I'd have thought, because it would have been like late 70s, 77, 78-ish. 79, he went to Portland, where he joined a group with Buddy Rose and Ed Wiskowski, who's Colonel De Beers, isn't it? Did trips to All Star in Vancouver that we've looked at before, haven't we? 84, Jim Crockett, where he tagged with Ted Oates as the Hollywood Blondes. By early 86, he was in Memphis feuding with Dutch Mantel. September 86, Continental Wrestling Federation, where he feuded with Adrian Street, which I've seen lots of Continental stuff. It's fucking amazing, really good.
Yeah.
87 Central States, most of 88 and 89 in Stampede. Also in 89 in Puerto Rico for Carlos Colon. 91 to 93 in WCW, but also tied into trips with Smoky Mountain and Global and a couple of other places. I've seen a match from 95 in the WWF, but I don't know how many he did there. But there's him and Chick Donovan against the Smoking Guns in a tag from 95. 97 settled in Ohio Valley Wrestling as a wrestler, and then eventually trainer. WWF Developmental it was. Impact Developmental at one point as well, like after the WWF days, and I believe he's still involved with it today. Responsible for some of the big names we see on the WWE today, so very influential. Nobody says a bad word about him. Loves a good swear and a rap, and I love that. It's passionate, isn't it? It's passion, isn't it? Central States TV champion, national champion of the NWA tag team with Oates. ICW US tag team champions twice, once with Ricky Starr, once with Pez Whatley. Mid-America champion, OVW champion 3 times, OVW tag 3 times, Southeastern junior champion twice, Caribbean champion once, and tag team champion in the Caribbean twice. That's just a few. I mean, all established territories, and he did well in most of them, didn't he? Fucking hell of a wrestler, I think.
Yeah.
Salah as well. And a lot of the villains. I like him because he don't take wrestling too seriously, but he wrestles seriously, if you know what I mean. Like, he knows the score. He knows you've got to lose at some point, right? If there was no losers, there'd be no winners, would there? And he's the man that makes the winners, isn't he? Well, where did you start, mate?
I started in Continental against Adrian Street.
Winner.
Yeah. I take it you've not done that one.
No, I did before that for the Poffos.
Right. Okay. Well, this first match, I've actually seen before because I've got an Adrian Street DVD. I think it came from you actually, and there's loads of Adrian Street matches on it, and this was one on it. So I remember seeing this match not that long ago, but it was very enjoyable. It was it was quite short. It was like the whole video was about 13 minutes, but there was a big part at the beginning, like before the match even started. They went into what it started with. It started with Rip like winning a match, and then gets on the mic and he calls out Adrian Street, and then they go into like a massive, like one of them promos that he'd done, you know, backstage and stuff as they're both arguing, kind of thing. Both the women are there because they both got is it Linda and Brenda?
To Britain, yeah.
Yeah. And they all go into like a big fucking schmoz, like arguing and fighting and shit, and then they go into the match. Like they go into the so they go into the actual match. It takes ages. It's for the Southeastern title that Adrian Street's holding in the minute. So it's for the belt. Take a bit of a time to actually get going with the intros and everything, but they finally get into it. They go into a tie up. It's a really good match, and there's not a lot like to it, but like you'll see when I explain it. So basically the tie up, and they do like a break. They like tie up and break, and then they do it again. But they go into a into a corner. They go into like a fucking. They're doing like a tie up, a lock up. They're going into the corner. They break, but Rip kind of ends up facing away from Adrian Street, so he's facing the crowd as he's in the corner, and then Adrian Street just like grabs his ass, which obviously doesn't fucking and like he just obviously sells that, like, what the fuck you're doing. Then he blows him a kiss when he turns around, then he fucks off out the ring. He's like, fuck that. So so yeah. And then Adrian's just doing his prancing around the ring gimmick. Finally Rip gets back in the ring, tie up again, and then as they tie up into the corner, Rip gives him some cheap shots to take control, whips Adrian, but Adrian switches the whip. Now as Rip hits the corner, he goes in front ways like Brett, but doesn't come out, and as he's in front ways, Adrian just goes up behind him, grabs his ass for the second time. You know what I mean? So it's like grabs his ass for the second time, and then Rip powders again. He's like, fuck yeah, now. Finally they get back in the ring, tie up, they get into the ropes. As Adrian's back's to the ropes, he pops Rip, boom. But as Rip's selling from being punched, Brenda, that's Rip's woman, isn't it? Is it Brenda? Yeah. Grabs his foot. As he grabs his foot, grabs Adrian's foot from the outside. Like he just gets attacked there and then by Rip, and that starts the heat there. So there was basically no fucking shine as such. It was just that kind of, the arse grabbing and shit like that. And then they went into the heat.
Let's be fair, because it fits perfectly, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the crowd were loving it. The crowd were right into it. So yeah, starts the heat there. Adrian tries to fight back a bit. Yeah, so literally from the heat, so Rip attacks him and giving him the heat, and the heat is fucking not very long at all. It's like just boom, 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 not fucking a lot of heat at all. Then they get into like the corner. Adrian's fighting back in the corner, but as like they're fucking fighting away in the corner, the referee's getting Adrian back off him. Rip's in the corner as the referee's on Adrian, getting him back. But as Rip's in the corner, Brenda slides him like some knocks or something, comes at him, boom, pops him, covers him, 1, 2, 3. Everyone thinks he's won, but Linda, who's obviously with Adrian, fucking telling him to check him, whatever. He does go and check in and finds the fucking knocks down Rip's like tights. So the decision gets reversed, and then so Adrian ended up winning it by like reverse decision. But it was really, like I say, there wasn't much to it. It was literally like that bit at the beginning with all the fucking, just making him look like an idiot basically, and then a tiny bit of heat, and then the finish with a reverse decision, and that was it. But it was really good, well done, and like you said earlier, they had a rivalry there, didn't they? Like But
Yeah, it's a perfect match, really, because I mean they were kind of similar yet different, with girls that were similar yet different. You know, I think especially that territory. To be fair, it shows exactly how good Adrian Street was to be over like he was, looking like he was, with a gimmick like he had in what was Continental, like Alabama or something. Like they don't see many people like that. I mean, they might do now, but I mean, this is fucking mid-80s. You ain't gonna see many Adrian Street types in Alabama, are you? And
I know,
if
and
you
he
would,
was fucking
you would have been
over
fucking
as well.
yeah, you would have been burnt on a fucking stake back then, right? And he was over as fuck, you know, so good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
love them both.
Uh,
Adrian, Owen, brilliant.
after it, Rip fucking clotheslines Linda as well, which is not something you see in every day. Like, you know, knocking fucking. He gave her. I think he slapped her as well in the promo at the start. You know, when they're all around the table and stuff, which was quite fucking back then. It must have been quite rare to be smacking females around on TV and shit.
Big shit. Yeah,
Yeah, but
good,
yeah,
good.
that was really good. That great. That was.
Gosh. Right, Poffo's ICW versus George Weingarth. This is a TV main event. Rip is with Izzy Slapowitz. They're chatting on the way to the ring, like, you know, it's that Poffo's TV studio. You know, not a lot of people there, mostly with friends and family in there because they filmed on like a fucking Wednesday afternoon or something. So, you know, getting punters in on a Wednesday afternoon was difficult. So it was all friends and family or whatever. Rip and Izzy are shouting out on the way to the ring that they broke George Weingarth's monocle because apparently George Weingarth was like registered blind or something and he needed the monocle to see, you know, properly. And they broke it on TV last week or whenever it was. Weingarth's pissed about this, obviously, because he got his monocle's broke. He jumps Rip Rogers. Weingarth's the babyface, bear in mind, but he's fucking pissed. So this is like vengeance payback kind of gimmick, right? Jumps Rip and literally fucking mugs him all the way through it. But the sell from Rip Rogers is amazing. Big Beal out the corner. Rip goes to the other side. Hip toss out the other corner. Throws Rip out. Goes out. Throws him back in. George Wine. Oh, Rip's still got his fucking, you know, walking to the ring clothes on. He rips his fucking vest top off him, and he's got like these fucking, you know, like jogging kind of bottoms, but almost like the strippers wear that pop off, you know, them bad boys. He tries to pull them off him. They got like braces on. Tries to pull them off him, and they end up running around his ankles. And Weingarth goes to whip him, and fucking Rip just takes a bump on his face because obviously they're around his ankles. It's brilliant. Weingarth's fucking pissed. You know, he's angry shit. Atomic drop sends Rip out again. Bob Orton's on commentary, who is also a member of Izzy Slapowitz's group with Rip. Rip gets slammed on the floor outside the ring. Back in they go. Big backdrop from Weingarth. Big elbow drop off the ropes. Drop kick. There's a 2 count, but a foot on the rope from Rip. Small package. At that point, Bob Orton's in, fucking battering him for the DQ. There's a double pole driver attempt from both of them. And then Ronnie Garvin, Hands of Stone, the one man gang, whatever you want to call him, comes in to save Weingarth. All 4 are in now, and it's a big brawl. And the heels are sent packing, and Weingarth and Ronnie Garvin are in the ring celebrating. So that it would have been a pretty cool tag to see because there was clearly some fucking good heat between Weingarth and Rip at that point after poor old Weingarth's fucking monocle was broken. An odd story, but it fits perfect, doesn't it? Someone can't see too well, fucking take his monocle off him. Yeah, very enjoyable. Only short, but you know, it was TV, so ideal. Good shit.
All right. My next one's from Global
Right.
against the Handsome Stranger.
Marcus Bagwell.
Yeah. I'd never heard of him as the Handsome Stranger before.
Got like the fucking Zorro mask on.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought he looked a fool, to be fair, but but the fucking match was very good. It was a very good match. I enjoyed it actually, and
Bagwell was a handsome man. There's no question about that, especially for the time period, right? But why cover his fucking face up if he's a handsome man?
I
It's
know.
like being called Muscles Manfredo and covering yourself in a fucking jumper, isn't it? It's just silly, isn't it?
And it's like handsome stranger. He's not really a stranger because you can fucking see his face. It's just a fucking. It's like putting a fucking little like eye mask thingy on me. It's like, well, you still know it's fucking me. I'm not a stranger, am I? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Handsome stranger. The cunt's been on every week for the past fucking month. You know.
Might as well just put a fucking eye patch on him or something. Be like, you don't know who it is, do you? So fucking, But anyway, yeah. So Rip attacks him straight away on the outside from the actual fucking a double axe handle from the top to the outside before he even gets in the ring.
Do you know, I saw that for the other matches, but I know Rip, he lived with Randy Savage for like 4 years and proper idolised him, you know, because Savage was established and Rip was new.
Yeah.
It must have been something that he got out of that sort of Randy Savage playbook, isn't it? You know, because it's very fucking double axe off the top to the floor, bouting like very savage, like.
Yeah. But yeah, he does that on the outside before the match starts. The match gets underway. He's choking him with his top on the outside, fucking back in. Yeah, they go back in the ring, throws him over the top. It's all Rip, like at the start. He throws him in the ring, does a bit, then throws him back to the outside, gives him a fucking body slam on the outside, uses the ring bell for the fucking smashes him in the throat on the outside. Then they go back in, and the heat is literally just now like boom, fucking hits him with a nice suplex, but it's all Rip at this point. Gets him, throws him over the top again to the outside. Then when they're outside, fucking shit's getting violent now. Buff, I'll call him Buff. He switches the fucking atomic drop, like he blocks the atomic drop on the outside, turns it round into a fucking belly to back suplex on the outside on fucking
on that wooden floor in the sportatorium. Fuck that.
I know. I was like, what's going on here? Does that on the outside. Where are we now? Yeah. Yeah, on the outside. Then they go back inside. He's in control on Rip. Rip ends up in the ropes, like tied up in the ropes as fucking Buff was nailing him. Buff goes to whip him off the ropes, goes for a backdrop, and Rip kicks him up. Boom. Throws him to the outside again, this time through the ropes, but to the outside for like the third time or something. Then he goes for a power driver on the outside, but Buff reverses it, throws him over the top. Buff throws him in the ring. He's shining a bit now, Buff, and he hits a crossbody on the inside. And then he runs into a boot in the corner. So Rip takes back over. Yeah, so actually so he runs into a boot in the corner, Buff does. He goes down, Rip pins him with his feet on the ropes, but the referee notices the feet on the ropes. He's like, nah, you can't be doing that. He's like, all right. The Rip goes to the top. Rip goes to the top. Buff is down, fucking obviously from the boot in the face. But as Buff is like pulling himself up through the ropes, he pulls the rope and fucking Rip crotches himself on the top. Fucking goes, which is quite a cool spot. So it was like accidentally, like, but you know, on purpose at the same time. Crotches himself, and then then the endings come in. So he crotches himself on the top, goes back into the ring. Then Buff hits the fucking perfect plex for the 3 count. 1, 2, 3. I was shocked by that result. Fucking shocked. Like, yeah. So I've even put a fucking a shocked face. I was like not expecting that, you know. But yeah, it was a very good match though. But yeah, it just surprised me, that one.
Next up, February the 15th, 1992, from Smoky Mountain versus Joey Maggs. I do like me some jumping Joey Maggs. Bob Coddle and Jim Cornette on the commentary. Rip Rogers jumps Joey. That's 3 matches he jumped. He loves a good jump, doesn't he? Does Rip. Couple of big postings. Rip's still got his jacket on. Joey Maggs ducks an elbow, but Rip takes him down by the air on the way back. He sort of like, as he comes back off the ropes, grabs and sort of swings. Very cool. Then a hip toss by Joey Maggs. Gets his robe around Rip Rogers' neck and sort of beals him. A bit of an outside brawl. Joey Maggs ducks, but Rip Rogers comes back with a kick. Joey Maggs thrown out of the ring. Rip Rogers off the top to the floor. But I've written Macho Man in brackets. Some big chops outside the ring. Back in, reverse the post in, but Joey Maggs meets the boot of Rip Rogers. A line gets a 2 count. Small package from Joey Maggs. Little bit of a sort of comeback. There's some punches exchanged, but Rip pokes in the eye. Joey Maggs posts Rip Rogers and fucking lines him in the corner. Looks like he takes his fucking head off. Then backdrop. As Rip gets up off the backdrop, he sort of ties himself in the ropes. Joey Maggs ready to fucking unload then, bish bash bosh. He hits the ropes the other side as Rip's tied in. As he comes back, Rip fucking boots him. Slam by Rip Rogers. A slam attempt and then sort of falls back. A backslide from Maggs. A crossbody from Maggs. 10 heads in the corner. Maggs looking good here. Joey Maggs goes up, but because of the 10 heads in the corner, all Rip's all fucking staggery. He hits the ropes. Maggs crotches himself. Rip then with what they call the Ripperplex, which is pretty much top. What's it called? It superplex off the top. Like, right. He's crotched himself up there, so up he goes and suplexes him off the pin. Ripperplex, very nice match. Very. It was all Rip, and then it was all Maggs. Yeah, it was very good. Very exciting. Short telly match, but there was no wasted motion. You know, lots of shit going on.
All right. My next one, moving on to WCW now, 10th of the 11th, 1990, I believe that's the date, against Brian Pillman.
It's a winner, that, isn't it? Bound to be a winner.
I enjoyed this one as well, actually.
They would have been in Stampede together, wouldn't they? If it was 88, 89 that Rip was in Stampede.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was when Brian was there too.
You are?
Pretty sure that was when Pillman was there too, right?
Yeah, it would have been, yeah. This was a very good match as well. This was fucking really enjoyable. So the tie-up, get to the corner, Rip gives him a little slap. Fucking Brian returns the favour by slapping him back. Boom. Tie up again, get to the corner again. Fucking Rip gives him 3 chops, like, woof. Fucking 3 hard chops. Boom. Fucking Brian turns it around and gives Rip 3 chops of his own. Bam. Fucking hell. Like shotguns going off. Fucking Rip. This is a nice spot. So after that bit, Rip switches the whip into the opposite corner. Brian jumps up on the second. Rip runs at him. Brian leaps over him, so jumps over him as Rip hits the corner. Rip turns round into a hip toss, then a drop kick, then an arm drag by Brian, and he keeps the arm bar on to work on the arm. But a really nice spot that was. Hang on. Oh yeah, there was another nice spot now actually. So after that nice little sequence with the fucking arm drag, drop kick, and all that lot, there's another spot now where they go into a run spot where Rip, he leaps, and then you know how Snooker used to do like a leap coming back the other way as well. So yeah. So what Rip done is he jumped up as Brian was running under him. He leaps once. Brian's running from behind him now. He goes for a leap, but Brian stops, grabs him round the waist, and goes into like a waistlock roll up. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Yeah. So that was pretty nice. It gets a 2 count on that. Then an arm drag and back onto the arm bar by Brian. So he's working the arm. Really beautiful that was. They're on the floor as he's working it, but the referee, I was a bit confused by this because I wasn't sure what Guan. I don't know if I missed something. But the referee's saying that like Brian had pulled his hair or something. So he fucking like lets him up. So he's got him in the armbar on the floor, but the referee's like spotted something, which which if you're going like, the legitimacy of it, it kind of makes sense if the referee did think, you know what I mean? Because sometimes the ref would ask, like, did you do that? And you're like, nah. And it's like, well, this time he's like, yeah, you've done that. So like, let him up kind of thing, which you don't really see. It's either, so it kind of, in a way, from a shoot point of view, it kind of makes sense, if he did see something like that. But anyway, he lets him up. Tie up again into the corner, Rip with some shoulders in the corner. Fucking Brian switches around on him, gives him some shoulders in the corner. And Brian shines a little bit, hits him with a double axe handle from the top. Then a wrist lock. He's working the wrist now, puts the wrist lock. Then a thumb in the eye by Rip, just to start some little heat. Pillman thrown to the outside. Yeah, there's action outside now, going back and forth. Pillman's rammed into the steel post. Heat on the outside, throws him back in. And Pillman, he has a 2, 3, maybe 4 little comebacks, but just nothing. Like he'll fight back and keep getting cut off. I think he hits a sunset at one point and just, stuff like that. But it's all Rip, bar the little comebacks here and there. There's a sleeper by Rip. They work into the corner, so he breaks it, but then he's just back on top. Pillman gets whipped into the corner. I like this spot. So Pillman gets whipped. He goes for the up and over out the corner, but Rip catches his legs. So his legs are on his head. And then Pillman does like the head scissors, and Rip goes through to the outside.
Very cool.
Yeah. And Rip goes like flying to the outside. And then Pillman does like a springboard fucking crossbody from the apron to the outside now. So, like he'll jump on the second rope and then do like a springboard as Rip's outside.
For 1990, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Pillman's in control now. Pillman, the finish is coming now though. So Rip's back in. I think Pillman throws Rip in. Pillman goes to the top. Rip shoves him off the top, so he crotches himself, but Pillman stays up there. Rip goes up as if he's going to give him a fucking suplex or something, but he headbutts him. Rip falls to the mat, and then Brian jumps off with a crossbody for the 1, 2, 3, and that's the finish. But a very good match though. It was really enjoyable. This was really, really good.
Lovely. So. My next stop is somewhere in Europe. I don't know if it's Germany or Austria. 14th of June 92 versus Franz Schumann. Now, I first saw this on a video that I bought when I was a young'un from one of Brian Dixon's shows. It was like Europe versus USA, and it's all from this show in Europe. It's like an hour video I've got. Eric Williams commentates on the video with Bryn Fon in English. I've also seen it on the S4C Wrestler show, this match, with the Welsh commentary. And this has got German commentary on it, so it's clearly been dubbed a few times. There's wrestler written around the ring, but it's it's European, it's not the Welsh show, but it's just used for wrestler TV, isn't it? The rounds in this one. So round 1, Rip Rogers offers the handshake. Rip in this is far camper than he's been in anything else. But I think it fits perfect because it's like, it's a different area. They don't know who he is. It's proper hamming up the gimmick. So it's very, very camp Rip Rogers.
My last match is very camp as well. But my last match is WCW as well, but he seems a bit more camper than previously. My last match is 91, so... yeah.
Okay. 2 arm drags from Franz Schumann. Mick McMichael's the referee, wearing a kilt. Fabulous wrestler Mick McMichael was. Peter Williams doing the commentary. I know the German voice, but I don't know what he's saying because it's all in German. But I know it's Peter Williams. There's like an amateur takedown from Franz Schumann, stays on the arm. Rip goes to the ropes. Referee says he'll fine him if he keeps going to the ropes. Franz Schumann go behind and grabs Rip's tits, and there's a big pop for that. I'm not sure getting the relevance of it, but it seemed to get over, so each their own. Then Rip Rogers goes behind, and Franz Schumann just sort of shits himself a couple of times. Rip Rogers on the arm, then Franz Schumann gives a nice little roll out of it and then into a hip toss. And Franz Schumann's on the arm. Oh, tights. Rip pulls the tights to the corner for a little cut off there. There's a public warning for being in the corner too long to Rip. There's a kick from Franz Schumann, off the ropes goes Rip and a drop toe hold, and that's how it ends the round. During the break, Rip Rogers, rather than drinking out of the bottle as standard, he's got a little fucking plastic cup using, very fucking, it's just a gimmick, isn't it? He gets this little like bag out with, beauty products in, and he's squirting the fucking stuff, and brilliant, doing his hair and all that. Proper, like, a lot of the Americans, and this isn't anything against the Americans, it's just their style, the same as we would have been over there during those days. When it was new, like in the 80s and 90s, when the British went to America, they didn't have a fucking clue what they were doing, because it was like, what the fuck's this, right? But it's the same for them coming here. But Rip just got it. You know what I mean? He got the rounds thing. He got the fucking when to do what, and this bit in the middle is so cool. Round two, Rip's not ready yet. He's still drinking out of his cup and fucking stalling. Rip Rogers cuts Franz Schumann off with a knee straight off, and then it's all Rip for the bulk of this round. Abdominal stretch uses the ropes. Franz Schumann takes over for a little bit with an arm stretch, that one up when you're sort of on your arse.
Oh yeah.
Up goes Rip, tries to grab the rope, fucking down again. You saw it on someone else the other day. He grabs the rope, and Mick McMichael, the referee, kicks his foot, and back down he goes again. It's very cool, that is. There's a line by Franz Schumann, a post in, a knee, and that's how the end rounds for round two. Round three, a quick attack by Rip Rogers. A suplex, a big stomp between the legs, bosh. A DDT from Rip. That fucking ring looks hard as nails. I'm guessing it's Otto's promotion, but I could be wrong. A headbutt, back scratch, a bite. It's fucking Rip's going like Olog now, you know what I mean? Then Franz Schumann with a sunset flip pulls the arse out. I mean, I made that famous over here, do you know what I'm saying? Franz Schumann then goes up to the top rope, but Rip cuts him off. Looked like there was going to be a flare off, but Rip goes up for the suplex, but Franz Schumann headbutts him off. Big crossbody, and the one fall required. Not like British wrestling, when there's two falls. It tends to be only one in England, in Europe, should I say. But my favourite match out of the four, I would say. I mean, they're all belted, but this one was a winner. Really enjoyed it. Rip just got it. You know what I mean? It's fucking. You can't beat a camp gimmick, in my opinion. Every show should have one.
Yeah.
Well, your last one.
My last one, WCW 91. It says it's either March or April. I don't think they were sure on the actual thing. I think it was March or April, or maybe May. I don't know. But anyway, WCW, and it's against Owen Hart.
All right, cool.
So this was a short match, around about the 5-minute mark.
I know Owen didn't do a lot there. I know there's a tag with him and Ricky Morton.
Yeah.
I think he's against Joe Kazana on that. There's a match with Pat Rose and this one. So I don't know whether there's many more, to be fair, of Owen in WCW.
I'm a bit surprised that Owen never really done much more in WCW because he was kind of, I think he was quite suited there, to be fair, with like just the style and that. And you had like the likes of Pillman and everyone. I thought Owen was a perfect fit, like round about then. But you know, yeah, the match is quite interesting at the start because, like I was, like I was saying, Rip's a bit camper in this one than he was in the previous matches. Owen Hart starts a chant. Now, I'm not sure I should say this, but I'm going to anyway because it's quite a bad word. But,
say it in context is this was said in 1990. It's like, it's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it was 1991, and Owen decides to start a faggot chant. So he's got the whole fucking, and it's not just a few in the front row, it's literally the building. Like you can hear it as clear as day.
Put
And
them in
like
a stage building or whatever, you know, so fair few people in there. Yeah, different time, wasn't it?
it was a different time. You'd get murdered for it now, but yeah, back then I guess they were all into it kind of situation. They didn't care, so that's what they were doing. And the announcers were trying to like be like, yeah, they were trying to say stuff like you know, that he shouldn't be saying that or whatever, but they didn't give a fuck. Like the fans were just it was very loud, a real loud chant anyway. But yeah, so they go into the they go to tie up, but Owen kind of slides under his arms, like he ducks under and then like bypasses him a bit. So then Rip kind of goes into the ropes, like, and then they'll do it again into the corner. So if you can imagine, they go to tie up. Owen just kind of slides under his arm and then pushes him from behind, and then Rip kind of goes into the corner. And then that time when he'd done it, Owen sneaks up behind him, gives him a schoolboy for the 2 count, kick out, goes at him, gives him a small package for the 2 count, kicks out. Strong tie up here and a cheap shot by Rip at the ropes. Takes head, gets shot off, tackles Owen, who Owen sleeps. Owen gives him a hip toss, then a slam, then a drop kick, then Rip powders. Owen comes out after him straight away, throws him back in, then Owen takes over, takes on the wrist. Owen's shining a little bit. It's all fucking Owen, actually. This is probably the most one-sided match out of the whole lot, and it's all like Owen. Like Owen does a lot of shine. He does like a spot where Rip goes down for like a backdrop, but Owen does like the back roll over his back. You know what I mean? Like lands on his feet. But it's kind of cool because Owen done it. As he done it, he kind of grabbed Rip's foot as he landed. Like I thought Owen was like losing his balance, but he literally done the back roll, grabs Rip's foot as he like, you know, lands on his feet. And then he hits like an atomic drop on Rip. Then a beautiful monkey flip out the corner by Owen. Then a beautiful enziguri, fucking shining like fuck Owen is. And then Rip takes over briefly, just for like a fucking literally a few seconds. Whips Owen to the corner. Owen does a beautiful backflip off the top turnbuckle, then hits a belly to belly suplex on him. Beautiful. Drop kick. Rip goes to the outside. Owen does a fucking suicide dive through the ropes. Owen's in control, throws him in, and then does like a twisting crossbody off the top for the 3 count. Boom, 1, 2, 3. Literally, Rip done fuck all in that. Hardly anything.
Well, I think being so new there, needed him to look as strong as possible, right? And Rip was the man, doubtless. You know that you I could see it coming from the office. You know, fucking give your best for 4 minutes, isn't it? Being so new in the promotion.
Yeah.
Right, I got one more from WCW as well. 1993 Worldwide versus Davey Boy Smith, Tony and Jesse on commentary. Clean shaven Rip was here. But I heard on one of his shoots, I don't know whether this fits right in the time period, but it might well do, that Rip sort of clean shaven and all the rest of it because was kind of working with the office, you know, going to venues and fucking sponsors and this kind of thing. So in a suit and all the rest of it, with the beard, wasn't quite so sort of clean office look. Whereas they'd believe that he was an office personnel with a full clean shave and all that. So, you know, it fit lovely. There's a pose down at the start with the two, you know, fucking Rib's in fucking good shape here. Well, he has been all the way through, but I mean, fucking posing with Davey. Like Davey's massive, don't get me wrong, but they're in a great deal of difference. British Bulldog pushes Rip at the, you know, pushes Rip off. Rip Rogers complains about the air pull. Davey takes the arm, Rip reverses it. Davey takes the head. There's a whip attempt, but Davey holds on. Then there's the whip, the tackle by the Bulldog, and Rip Rogers just powders after that. Fucking quite the tackle. So he's powdering outside. Davey goes out after him, press slams him back in. Bosh. Beal by the hair from Rip though, once he's back in, because he's got the fucking braids, hasn't he? There's a posting and Bulldog's met with a boot. The finish, Rip Rogers goes up for something, comes like crossbody kind of thing. Davey catches him up on the shoulder, power slam, jobs are good. The shortest match, the most powerful sort of match out of the four. But I'm going with Franz Schumann being my favourite.
Yeah.
The European one. What was yours?
Probably the Pillman one, I reckon. Yeah,
Sounds like
very good.
Right, so we're having the rest of the week off. It's my birthday Monday next week, so we're having that off and on. And then we start again, in essence, a week on Wednesday with the Atlantic Grand Prix wrestling from Canada. Friday of that week, sort of a week this Friday coming, is Well Done / Southern Rockers, isn't it? And then it's your pick for singles on Monday.
The
2
following.
weeks.
Yeah.
What do you fancy?
Well, I wasn't sure when we started doing this tonight, and I had someone in mind because I forgot that I had to pick someone because I just totally forgot to pick someone. But then I had someone in my mind, but then as it's gone on, I've changed my mind and picked someone else. So I'm gonna go with someone I'm a big fan of, and he's fucking from way back in the day, but like I've seen enough of him, and even in his later years, I thought he was fucking really good. We're gonna go with Ivan Koloff.
As a marvelous choice.
Yeah.
I knew not a lot about. I mean, I've seen Ivan Koloff in the sort of mid-80s NWA stuff mainly, and then a bit in Smoky Mountain in the 90s, early 90s, and that's about it. Initially, I didn't realise. I mean, I knew he was the WWF World Champion, blah blah blah, you know, but I didn't really understand exactly how big a fucking name he was until I watched that documentary of his that's on YouTube, and it's fucking brilliant, so good, and it shows him as he was not long before his death, I'd have thought, but goes through the whole story of his wrestling life, and right. So Wednesday of not this one coming, the one after Atlantic Grand Prix from Canada. Friday, Well Done / Southern Rockers. Monday of the following week is Ivan Koloff. Sweet. This has been Rip Rogers. All in all, Rip's a fucking an amazing man, and I'm glad he's still involved in wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He should be. Somebody that's had that experience, like Rip has had. I mean, the dickhead fan looks at it and thinks, fucking job boy, right? But they're the ones with the most experience, aren't they? Because they've wrestled everybody.
I think wrestling needs more people like Rip to be still involved. And, you know what I mean? With that mindset that he seems to have, like, I feel like you can benefit a lot from being around him and to listen to him. And I think if more people like that were involved, I think, you know, fucking brilliant.
That have done the territories, that have done the shows in front of no people and done the shows in front of every people and treated them all as individual shows. You know, whatever's needed, they'll fucking do it. And it's a job at the end of the day, isn't it? You know what I mean? And whatever you're told to do, you fucking do it, don't you? And you do
Yeah.
it to the best ability, and Rip's always been very good at that. But
Yeah.
yeah, wicked, right. Yeah, sweet. Not this Wednesday, the Wednesday after. See you then. If I can turn you off.